Somebody's right here.
That's
me. On me.
This whole conversation about blueprint locations, it goes way deeper than it looks on the surface when you start asking for exact blueprint drops, especially highly sought after ones like augment and weapon blueprints. You have to look at community data the right way, and that's exactly why I ran a poll on my channel. I wanted a community-backed consensus that actually narrowed things down. Not really speculation, but real locations from real players, and the results were honestly shocking. Over 1,000 people voted, and the comments were filled with players listing exactly where they found their blueprint and what container it came from. And I appreciate every single one of you who participated, because the poll didn't just help, it completely confirmed the method. The crazy part is I ended up getting my snaphook blueprint on the very first attempt after following the exact approach the community voted for.
wow, not a single thing to loot on this floor. I think it was hit already. Uh-oh.
Somebody's right here.
That's
me. On me.
Roger that.
Over there.
On me, on me, on me. Got him.
Now, of course, I'm not the only one collecting this kind of information. YouTuber The Gaming Merchant gathered over 3,100 submissions of players logging their blueprint drops with the exact map, room, container. Between his database and the poll we just ran, we have more than enough data to start identifying consistent blueprint locations. But before we get into it, there's something important you need to understand about these community submissions. Whether it's my poll or the Gaming Merchant's spreadsheet or anyone else's, the data is always going to be skewed by where people actually play, not where the blueprint is guaranteed to spawn. For example, Buried City is one of the most played maps in the entire game, so naturally most blueprint submissions will come from Buried City. Not because any blueprint has a higher drop chance there, but simply because that's where most players spend their time. On the other hand, Blue Gate gets played less, so you'll see fewer blueprint submissions from Blue Gate, which doesn't mean the blueprint doesn't drop there. It just means fewer players were there to report it. This is why looking at raw submissions can trick you into thinking certain blueprints only drop in one place, when really it just reflects players' population. And that's why this guide exists, to cut through the noise and focus on the locations that showed up repeatedly across hundreds of comments, not just the ones from the most popular maps. Now we can break down these locations. Let me start with the snaphook, because this is the one I personally verified. I found my snaphook blueprint on Dam Battlegrounds during an electromagnetic storm, inside one of those brown pry open metal containers near the outer dam houses. Just these apartments that you see along the side of the map. That was my exact pull. And mind you, during electromagnetic storms is not only on Dam Battlegrounds. I literally, just before recording this video, talked to my boy, and he said he just got the snaphook blueprint. It was during a storm. And then I checked the comments, and the same pattern showed up repeatedly. Players mentioned the snaphook dropping from Dam Battlegrounds during storms, inside pry open crates near the outer structures. So the match between my experience and your comments was nearly perfect. Bottom line, if you're hunting the snaphook, the strongest location is Dam Battlegrounds, storm in these outer houses, or just storms in general. Now let's talk about the Wolfpack grenade, because this is where arcraiders shows how unpredictable RNG can be. I found my Wolfpack blueprint on Spaceport inside the control tower on the second floor in one of those drawers on the table, and it was during a night raid. When I went through the comments, this wasn't the most common spot for the Wolfpack at all. In fact, the blueprint people found the most in that tower wasn't the Wolfpack, it was the Anvil. So my Wolfpack pull is a perfect example of how the game works. Even if the probability is higher somewhere else, you can still get a rare blueprint in a completely unexpected spot. And since the Anvil kept showing up in that same building, let's transition right into that one and then come back to the Wolfpack. And based on the comments from the poll, the Anvil blueprint had one location that clearly stood out. It was in Space Tower mid and upper interior levels. Players consistently mentioned finding the Anvil blueprint inside the tower on the middle and upper floors, but this was one of the strongest patterns in the entire database. And unsurprisingly, you can also find the Anvil blueprint in the damn battlegrounds, just like the Snaphook blueprint, kind of in the same areas, but you can also find them in the loot areas like the domes and water treatment facility, stuff like that. So it's kind of a 50-50 chance that you'll get the blueprint from either location. So even though I haven't personally found the Anvil yet, the community data is extremely consistent. Okay, now let's go back to the Wolfpack. And this actually drops the most, meaning the location that it appeared repeatedly in the comments. Multiple players tie the Wolfpack blueprint to Buried City, second floor apartments, especially kitchen drawers and cabinets. There are a lot of living areas on Buried City. So when I say apartments, you just search whatever apartments you see. Some people reported seeing them in the pharmacy, but like I said, I don't really want to talk about all these many different places that it can potentially be found. So let's just narrow it down. In the residential floors, kitchen areas, and utility drawers. So while I personally got mine from the Spaceport Tower, the Buried City apartments are the real high probability spot based on your community data. Okay, now on the poll, if you saw, I included the Silencer Tier 3 blueprint, but unfortunately, I just found out shortly after posting this that the Silencer Tier 3 doesn't even exist in arcraiders currently, although there is an actual Silencer Tier 3 that you can attain, which I did right here under this bridge in this drawer, and there's still Silencer Tier 1 and 2 blueprints. So it's a good thing that we can still get 40% reduced sound with the Tier 2. And this is one of the most important blueprints in the game, honestly, because silence controls combat engagements. If no one knows your location, you will always control the trajectory of the fight. So here's where you can find it, and it's been known to be here often. Buried City, residential master key in the Grandioso apartments right here. And I suggest going there during a night raid where the loot pool is heightened. Now, a lot of people also mention on this poll that they've gotten a lot of blueprints during the day. More in fact than during a storm. I think the storm is, you can call it a perfect storm because it gives you specific blueprints like the Snaphook and the Anvil during that weather event. I don't really think that the storm is good for just overall looting to find all kinds of different blueprints like defib or Raider Flare blueprints, just other overall blueprints that you're looking for. I think that the storms are for specific blueprints, and if you really want to go out and farm all kinds of blueprints, then you don't really have to tie yourself to night raids. Daytime raids have a high chance to drop these blueprints as well, but after you search the key room in the Grandioso apartments, still go and search like the second floor bedrooms and side room shelves. Who knows, you might get lucky. But this is the strongest pattern for the Silencer Tier 2. So basically you can find a Snaphook on damn battlegrounds during the storm, prying open those brown containers in the outer houses along the outside of the map. The Anvil is usually in Spaceport Tower, mid and upper interior floors. And Wolfpack and Silencer are both on Buried City most consistently. And my personal Wolfpack drop in Spaceport is your reminder that even if the probability is lower somewhere else, RNG still has its own personality. But these 4 locations are the community verified, repeatable, high probability blueprint spots based on real information, not guesses. I specifically mention these 4 blueprints because they are highly sought after in the community. I'm sure some of you have some personal requests based on what blueprints you want. But overall, the Snaphook is an all-around utility gadget that allows you to get extreme tactical advantages on enemies and just position yourself in certain areas in PvE to deal massive amounts of damage. A silencer keeps you hidden on the battlefield, allowing you to be deadly. The Anvil is just an all-around great secondary and primary weapon that you can use that you should always have the ability to craft whenever you need it. And finally, the Wolfpack is just this PvE destroyer that everybody wants. So I just figured I'd pick the blueprints that a lot of people in the community have been asking about. And of course, you're going to have a lot to say in the comment section below because everyone's experience is different. And please go to my channel in the post section and vote and comment on a poll, letting people know where you got your blueprint, if you did, and the exact loot container. This will help us discover even more in the future. But I hope this helped. If it did, then like the video and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I'll see you in the next one, fam. Be right out.